Hey everybody, welcome back to Andertons TV. I'm joined today by Martin, who is the technical director from Engl Amplifiers. He's come over from Germany with his colleague Jürgen, and you might recognize the guitar player that we're going to be using in this video because Jamie Hunt has also come in as well to do some playing. But we're here to talk about Engl because it's an important birthday for you guys this year, isn't it?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit, you're 40 years old, obviously. But actually, you're not far off of 40 years old,
so yeah, I'm 41, so...
So, yeah, Martin started the company when he was one. No, we're going to talk about their 40th anniversary and a very, very cool amplifier that they've released to celebrate that anniversary. So stay tuned to the end of this video because we're going to be going through that in a bit more detail. But Engl, tell us a little bit about the history of the brand.
Yeah, so it started all with our founder, Edmund Engl, back in the beginning of the 80s. He was a musician back then, and he wanted to get rid of all the dialing in the amp tones, and so he came up with the idea to have a digital amp with a tube power amp where he can save all his presets and has to do his step dancing and stuff. And yeah, that was the initial spark of Engl amps. So
wow, I'm not sure. I'm trying to think what my earliest memories are. Probably would have been something around sort of Ritchie Blackmore using them, that kind of thing. I don't know that I remember an amp that had a sort of a digital preamp in it. That was far beyond its time, wasn't it? You know?
Yeah, sure. So and if you remember, I mean, it came out, the digital amp, in 1983. It was released to the Frankfurt Music Messe, and back then it was a huge thing because nobody has such a unit available. So yeah,
cool. Well, I mean, with what, MIDI switching or something in 1983? MIDI would have existed. But
it was kind of but you had an additional little box,
right?
So which was like an interface to have the presets available. Yeah, it was kind of. I mean, it's 40 years ago. So.
Well, I kind of, when I think of Engl amplifiers, I do sort of generally think of amplifiers that seem to have quite a lot of switching options on them. Although I know some of the artist signature models are more simplistic. But tell me about how the range is kind of set out, and let's just give people kind of an idea of, like, if they were interested in Engl, perhaps which area of the range would most be suited for them.
So we have let's call it the ball range. So this is it started with the Fireball, the Fireball 100, the Powerball, and the Ironball series. And that's the special edition.
Yep.
Yeah.
So how are each of those different voices, or is it different feature sets?
So basically, mainly it's different feature sets, and the Powerball is 4 channels, Fireball is 2 channels, but it's the same tonal family. Mm-hmm. But I would say there are slight differences in terms of what kind of music you're playing, or you can play with it.
Let's address probably the first thing, because I feel, whether it's by association of the artists that have used them, or whether it's just visually, it's quite a sort of, I think the visual side of it lends itself to more of a metal kind of look. But I think it's been associated with playing a metal style of music. Do you sort of embrace that, or do you feel like it's an unfortunate the way the brand's been pigeonholed?
So I don't think that it's kind of a stigma, because our amps are truly metal, so they look like metal, but you can do a lot of more. So classic rock or blues rock. Even we had a customer. I had a conversation with him on the phone, and he was a jazz player, so he used the Savage Mark II 120, which is a brutal metal beast, but he was playing jazz with the clean channel. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Right. Well, look, let's dive in. We'll invite Jamie in. We're going to start looking at some of the features on some of the sounds you can get out the Powerball II, and then we'll whiz on to these two. I said we're only going to do a sort of a relatively brief sort of dive into these three amplifiers so we can spend most of the time on the Founders Edition. But before we get Jamie in, do you want to just give us the basic features on the Powerball and what amplifiers can you get within that sort of Powerball range?
So the basic features of the Powerball II is, I mean, it's a 4-channel amplifier. It has a clean crunch channel with a shared EQ, but it's not completely shared. Each channel has its own treble control. So here, treble crunch and treble clean. So we have 2 lead channels with a middle boosted function. The mid boost is when engaged. The middle boosted, you can dial in the mid frequency level. We have built-in noise gate. Cool. Presence and depth control. It's controllable via SAC control. It's an Engl proprietary.
I know, the full switch design just for this amplifier.
So it's with a TRS foot switch connector, yeah.
That's enough talking. By the power of editing magic, I will now be replaced by a long-haired rock god who will get you some sounds from the Powerball. Okay, that was awesome. Thank you very much, Jamie. Did a massively better job than I would have done of that kind of thing. So within the Powerball family then, what sizes of amp are an option if this is the kind of set of features that you want?
So the Powerball we have only in 100 watts, but with the Fireball 100 we have also a smaller brother, the Fireball 25.
Right, so that's how it works, is it?
Yes.
Well, that's a nice segue on to the next bit. So now we're going to look at this, the Fireball 25. So it's kind of like a part of this sort of Powerball family, but clearly you can see substantially less knobs and buttons on the front, and obviously I guess the name infers it's not as loud either. So Jamie will be back in a minute to give us a run through of some tones on this, but what are the basic features then on the Fireball?
So it's 25 watts, but it's not EL84, so it's 6L6s.
Okay.
So more headroom, and it sounds really huge. We have two channels, clean and the lead channel. But the clean channel, when you crank it up, you can also have a nice crunchy rhythm sound. It has a built-in noise gate, cool. Built-in power soak. Wow. On the back, so you can use it without having a cabinet hooked up.
Was there anything like that on the Powerball?
No.
No, so no. This is just full 100 watts. Right, I get it. Okay.
It's just...
well, we'll show you the back of this amplifier in a second as well, but yeah, I can see the noise gate now and the attenuation. That's cool. And then just a very simple clean and lead channel.
Yeah.
I see you've still got this kind of mid-boost option here. Is that kind of like a cut-down version of the mid-boost that's in here?
So this one you can't adjust the level of the boost on the Powerball amp. You can adjust it, so it's kind of I mean it's pretty small. So
I should also mention as well, of course, we've got this fantastic kind of angled, smaller cab. You could obviously use the 25 into the bigger cab if you wanted to, but I think we're going to use the smaller one for this demonstration. What speakers are you using in the cabs?
330s. So Celestion V30s because
sorry, I thought you
they
said
work.
I thought you said 330s for a minute, and I was going, who makes a 330? But yes, a V30. Yeah. Cool. Why not? It's a super popular speaker for this kind of sound. All right. Well, look, we will get Jamie back, and we'll plug the Fireball 25 in and see what that sounds like. Thank you again, Jamie. You can definitely hear the relationship between these two, and I guess I think the Fireball is not quite half the price of the Powerball, but it's not far off of that. So I guess if you're shopping on a budget, or you just don't need the power and the switching on the Fireball makes a lot of sense. However, this looks interesting. The Ironball. There's a lot of switches on here, a lot of stuff on the back. And this also says special edition, so I'm not so familiar with this. Is there a normal Ironball, or is the whole Ironball thing a special edition?
So we have a normal Ironball in our range, but the special thing on the special edition is that we built in digital effects.
Right.
IR loader, we have a delay, reverb on board, the noise gate is on board, power soak as well as the normal Ironball. Yeah.
This seems to be one of those kind of formats of valve amplifier that's really catching on at the moment, because it kind of ticks all the boxes. It can be just an out and out brutal sounding loud valve amplifier if you want it to be. You can use it at home with the power soak. You can use it on bigger stages with the internal emulated output. I've not seen them with effects on board as well. This is pretty fully featured, this.
Yeah, and it's MIDI switchable, so you can control the effects via MIDI as well. So
that's amazing. And where does this sit then? So this is presumably more expensive than a Fireball, is it? But not as expensive as the Powerball, so somewhere in between. And is the normal one always in this sort of folded metal case, or do you have a wooden sleeve? So Ironball is always this kind of visual look, is it? That's kind
so
of
the special edition has a stainless steel faceplate.
Right.
So
we're going to go back to using this now with Jamie, but we'll do some section through the 112 cab, and then we'll do some other sections using the actual emulated output. I mean, there is tons of stuff on here, like, you know, the noise gate. Oh, I like these switches as well. The reverbs, delays, effects loop, gain boost. So this is what, a 2-channel amplifier, but with a gain boost as well? Does the gain boost work over either channel?
Yeah, so you have 2 channels, but you can use it as a 4-channel.
Almost like a pseudo 4-channel amplifier. Wow, that's a lot of stuff. What does MVB stand for?
That's a master volume boost. So if you need a second master volume.
So it's clean channel at 1 volume, clean channel with a boost, clean channel with a different master volume, and then the same again for lead. So it's almost like a 6 different settings without, you know, and that's before you've even started using the delay or the reverb to change stuff. Wow. Okay, cool. Yeah, this looks awesome. And what's the valve complement inside here?
So it's the preamp is ECC83s and the power amp section is EL84s.
Right. So it's a different kind of vibe from the Fireball, isn't it? Like that. But again, not uncommon in these kind of amplifiers. And again, we're getting 20 watts out of this, something like that?
Yeah. So it's 20 watts.
20 watts. Great. Okay. Cool. Oh, I'm interested to hear this. So, and again, as promised earlier, we're going to do a bit more of a deep dive into the Founders Edition. That's coming next. Jamie's coming back. Go! I must admit, a great sounding amp and some killer features. Whilst Jamie was playing, I was having a quick look on the website, and there is the non-special edition version of this. Just doesn't have all the effects built in, and that's a similar price actually to the Fireball, and then the special edition one is just over £1,000, but well worth a look. And we'll put links in the description below this video to all the Engl products. Okay, so the main reason you guys are here, obviously celebrating the 40th anniversary of Engl, is to show us this Founders Edition amplifier. What a beast! There's a lot of glass in there.
Yeah.
So before we hear it, I guess, tell us, what's the thinking behind this amplifier?
Yeah, so there's a story behind this special edition, Founders Edition. So we introduced the original special edition in the mid of the 2000s. So it was 2003 to 2004. We discontinued it it was in 2019 or something. Yeah, 2019. In this period, our founder Edmund Engl, he has his own home studio at home, and he had one of these original special editions in his studio, and he started to tweak this amp over the years. And the last years, we got a lot of response from the customers and from fans that we should bring back the special edition, and Edmund was thinking about it, and he told us, so we can do it, but when we bring it back with my tweaks. And that's where this whole thing started. So it's it's a special edition, but tweaked over 15 years. So.
Right. So I can see it's obviously multi-channel, I guess, a little bit like the Powerball. Would you say it's like a Powerball with more, or is it a completely different kind of sounding amplifier?
Completely different. That's the amp you can do everything with, I would say, because you have pristine, crystal clean sound. You can have crunch sounds with British crunch sound, and the lead channels. And you have a fifth channel, the tube driver channel.
Wow.
It's a classic tube preamp circuitry. You can run pedals or classic overdriven tube sound through. Yeah, and you have a lot of sound and tweaking options.
Yeah, I'm just trying to sort of get my head around. So you've got your main, I see, so you've got clean gain, crunch gain, and then two different leads, channels here.
It's two different voicings,
Yeah, different options about adding the tube driver in, tube driver EQ, gain boosts, separate EQ for, so this is a shared EQ on these two channels, and then the two lead channels share an EQ. You got, what are the buttons over at your side? You got tons of buttons.
So you have mid shift in the upper section. A mid shift, it's kind of a mid boost, but in certain frequencies. A bright switch. It's good for humbucker guitars to bump the high frequencies a little bit. And in the bottom section, you have a contour and mid edge. So the contour is more kind of a lower mid boost option, and the mid edge is more of the high mid frequencies. So yeah.
Anything interesting happening on the back? Have we got any of the sort of emulated outputs or?
No, there's no emulated outputs. So we have 3 effects loops. So,
3?
Yeah. So 1 serial and 2.
Wow. Yeah. So what, assignable to each channel, I guess, so you can have different.
But you can switch them through MIDI, and you can save your presets. So.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Fine. And power soak or anything like that, or just stand? So it's pretty. So all of the kind of the features are really on the front. Nothing much on the back.
You have built-in reverb as well. So,
right. Yeah. And this looks like it's got 4. Are they EL34s in there? Or 6L6s?
This one has EL34s, but it's available with 6L6s as well.
Okay, so you got the choice. And then 5 looks like 5 preamp tubes. Wow, I mean, tons and tons of stuff. So I think if we're talking about an Engl amplifier that should dispel any idea that Engl is just for metal, the Founders Edition is going to be the one. And I think because of that perhaps for this final bit of playing, we'll get, maybe Pete will do some stuff as well as Jamie will do some stuff, and we'll show off its how diverse an amplifier it can be. You know, before we go as well, I think, you know, there's quite a few famous artists that use the Engl range. Have you got any particular artists that are, you know, that you've enjoyed working with the most, or you know, who artists that you got some funny stories about, or?
So we have a signature line. So we with all our artists we work pretty close together. So we have Richie Blackmore, who was first signature artist. Then Steve Morse, Marty Friedman, Victor Smolsky, and the thing is, we have Simon McBride. Now Deep Purple uses an artist edition.
Yeah.
So
you've got a real. It almost feels like not quite all your artists, but it seems like you have to be the guitar player for Deep Purple to actually have a signature. Yeah.
Come on over.
Is that one of Edmund's favourite bands? Is it? He just sort of whoever's playing, he just goes after that guitar player. Goes, you know, here's an amplifier.
Yeah, sure. So he likes them pretty much. Yeah.
Was Richie Blackmore the first signature amp that you guys did?
So the Richie Blackmore, he uses the straight amp. There was a funny story behind it, because back in the 80s, Bruno, the brother of Edmund, did the distribution in the United States, and he was a soccer player, a fan, as well as Richie Blackmore, and so one thing came to another, and Richie Blackmore tried the straight amp back then, but Bruno told him he has to buy it. So there's nothing for free. And then he gave it back somehow, but Richie bought himself one at a shop. So, and after some time, one thing came to another, and he played as well as Savage, and then after some correspondence and talkings, we made him a signature amp. So,
well, I mean, he's one of the most iconic guitar players in the world, so that's very, very cool. Well, look, it's been a pleasure having you guys over. Thank you very much for making the journey. I am looking forward to seeing what this sounds like, putting it through its paces as well. Is this going to be, so is this a special just for your 40th anniversary, or will this be part of the catalogue now for the future?
That's in our catalogue for the future. So.
Cool. Oh, well, that's good. You can start saving now. Well, look, thanks a lot, guys, for coming over. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in another video soon.